What is up, everyone? TrueChampionSteven back here again with a brand new deck profile video for y'all. I hope you all had an amazing Valentine's Day, but this video is going to be on my personal Valentine. Is this new Narukami deck that came out in the new VBTO3 Miyagi Cardfight Club set. Miyagi Academy Cardfight Club set. There you go. So many C's and F's. Anywho, I really like this deck. I really think it's like probably the strongest, if not the best, Excel deck in Standard right now with the release of this new set, and it has some very, very powerful skills as well as powerful combos that the deck can do to maybe finish off some turns. This will be kind of a two-part video. This video today will be the actual deck itself, every card. I'll be going over my specific card choices and why I kind of am running the deck the way I am right now. And then later on video, maybe on tomorrow or Sunday or Monday, depending on when I can get it all edited together, is going to be the actual gameplay representation video where I just go over strategies against maybe other decks that are out right now, and maybe even some new decks in the future, like maybe some VTTO4 decks. If people want to test that with me, then they can. But yeah, I hope you all will enjoy these two videos. If you do, please let me know by hitting that like button. It really does help out, letting me know what you guys are liking and what you guys aren't liking about my content. And as always, be sure to subscribe if you're new, so that way you don't miss a single piece of my content that you might want to. That's kind of the idea. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitch and Instagram and Twitter at TrueChampionSteven, at champion_true on Twitter, and at TrueChampionSteven_ for Instagram. I know, but it's all down in the links below if you forget, so don't worry too much about it. Anywho, with all that being said, let's just hop right in to this deck profile for y'all. Alright, here's the 50 list. I'm going to go over the 0s, 1s, 2s, and 3s really quickly. Our starter is, of course, Spark Kid Dragoon. If you can get your hands on a foil one of these in real life, please do so. It's actually pretty beautiful. Generic, win right upon draw a card. It's all we got, so use it. Next up, our trigger lineup. It's actually a little weird. We're running 5 front, 2 crit, 5 draw. I don't know if you can see this 5th draw right here, and of course the 4 heal. Now, the reason why I'm doing the 5, 2, 5, 4, it's kind of rainbows, but it's like a really weird mixture of rainbows, is because I don't want my opponent to think that I'm only playing fronts, because we do have a restanding Vanguard in this deck. So a lot of the time, if your opponent's at 4 or 3, they'll just take your first Vanguard swing if they're not afraid of crits. So by running the 2, you kind of make it so your opponent thinks you're running Rainbow at a higher number than you actually are. So it kind of like manipulates your opponent into guarding attacks that if they thought you were just playing fronts, they wouldn't have guarded. And also, think of it this way too. If your opponent's at 3 damage, you can actually kill them on your first Daytonic Stinger Dragon, or Daytonic Drill Dragon, if you get a crit. So that's pretty cool too. So yeah, I really do like actually the inclusions of crits because it has such great synergy with Daytonic Drill. It may not have synergy with the rest of the cards in the deck, but I feel like Daytonic Drill, being your main win condition, is honestly enough to get that full value from the crit, as well as just manipulating your opponent to do things like mind gaming them. I do think 5 draws is also necessary too, because you are an Excel deck, so your pieces are very important to you, especially when you have like a cool combo like Daytonic Drill onto Stinger into Rising Phoenix. You know, you want to be able to see these cards as fast as possible, so maybe that 5th extra draw power is actually really useful, considering we don't really have any ways to draw outside of, I guess, Demolition Dragon. But yeah, no, I'm really liking this lineup right now. It's testing super great for me so far. If you do want to go straight 7-5 in fronts, you totally can. It'll totally work out for you, I promise. But I definitely would not commit to full crits in this kind of Excel deck. It's definitely not one of those Excel decks. It's definitely very similar to Great Nature and how you want to be as aggressive as possible, but spread out aggression, not just like really focused one lane aggression, and you multiply that by resetting your rear guards over and over again. It's definitely not that kind of deck. It's definitely like, I have only these 5 attacks. I want to get as much damage in as I possibly can with these 5 attacks. So that's where fronts really come in handy. Also, fronts are really good defensively, which you probably already know if you're playing the game. Next up, we're running actually a lot of grade 1s, because there's just so many great grade 1s in Narukami right now. The first one is Demolition Dragon. Now, I know his Vanguard skill is very niche, but I mean, think of it this way. Half the time, you're going to go second, right? So if you go second, you ride this card. Half the time, you're going to be drawing an extra card for no reason if your opponent, or forcing another card out of your opponent because they don't want you to draw a card. It's honestly super cool. This guy can really lead to some amazing pressure plays on turn 1 if you go second, because if you ride him and then call another a rear guard and you attack with your Demolition Dragon, they're like, ooh, I could guard this, so that way I don't have to guard the next one, but then you check a crit, and then like you see what I'm saying, right? Like, it can just create aggressive plays for you that can also turn into very advantageous plays for your actual hand. So I really do like this card a lot. Next up is our main comboer, Lizard Soldier Riki. His ability is, oh, by the way, hang on, let me get back to this really quick. Demolition Dragon's effects are continuous. If your opponent has front row, has no rear guards, this unit gets plus 3,000 power. It's a rear guard skill only, and then his auto Vanguard skill only. When an attack hits a Vanguard, draw a card. That's kind of all he does. But it's enough. I do think it's actually really good. Next up is Lizard Soldier Riki. Vanguard rear guard, which is weird, but it is Vanguard rear guard. When placed, cost Soul Blast 1. This unit gets power plus 3 until end of turn. You may swap all of your opponent's rear guards to the front row and back row. All of them change at the same time. Units in the middle rows, middle columns cannot move. Okay. Really big thing about this card. Narukami is actually a really niche Excel deck in the sense that it actually has very consistent removal. But its removal only works for the front row. Every card can bind something, not retire, binds. Keep that in mind. Only binds. So, for the front row. But with Riki, what you can do is you can use some skills that bind the front row, and then you can move the 2 back row units to the front row, and then use more skills to get rid of them again. And that combos so well with Daytonic's Drill Dragon, because his effect, his cost matters for how many units, or rear guards I should say, your opponent has in play. So if you can kill all their front rows, and then kill the back rows by moving them to the front, and then killing them again, or attacking them even, then Riki can add to the synergy of your main strategy. So I really do like this card. This is a trial deck card, in case anyone was wondering. That's where you get this card. Next up is honestly the best card in the deck, and the reason why I love this deck so much, Rising Phoenix. If anyone saw my set review video, this was my favorite card of the set. This card is ridiculously powerful. I love everything about it, and I cannot wait to mess around with it in premium and just in standard shenanigans. Okay, so his effect is auto drop zone. When your opponent's rearguard is bound during your turn, you may call this card to rearguard circle. If you do, this unit gets power plus 3 until end of turn. This card is nutty. Oh man, so what that means is, say you you guarded with this card early, and then you use one of your effects that retires, binds. I'll say retire whenever I mean bind, just know that. I'm sorry. Like, say you use Death Scythe here, you Soul Blast 2, choose to rearguard your opponent's front row, bind it, this unit gets power plus 3k. Boom, you just get to automatically get this free unit back from the drop zone whenever you want. They gave a Grand Blue skill to Narukami and Excel. You can just call him straight onto an Excel circle. He's now a 21k beater, and if he stays on that Excel circle, he'll be 18, hitting good numbers the rest of the game. This card is nothing but value, the card. I cannot wait to see how powerful this card is in practice. Super powerful. I cannot wait for you guys to see how amazingly powerful this card is in practice. Really strong, best card in the deck for sure. Next up, we got Lightning of Hope Helena. This is our resource management card. When your opponent's rearguard is bound during your turn, if you have no face-up cards in your damage zone, cost Soul Blast 1 and Counter Charge 1. This card's only purpose in this deck is to help us maintain our counterblast resources whenever our opponent is trying to deny us damage, because I believe we only have one. Yeah, his skill right here, Daytonic's Drill, does require a counterblast, so they can get around it by blocking you damage, or just by us having us counterblast all of our damage. So Helena's really nice to make skills like Recklessness, or skills like, I guess, Stinger, make them actually free instead of Counterblast 1. So that's really nice. But you do have to keep in mind, though, we do have another Soul Blast cost card here, Death Scythe. So keep that in mind. Our soul is actually a major resource in the deck, and I believe the only way we have to build it is actually by riding. So Helena may not be able to be abused in a game, but it will definitely get you that extra Counterblast you really want. There is another card. It's an 8k Dragon Dancer. She's really powerful, and she goes into the soul and gives 3 units 5k whenever a rearguard is bound. So that's a really powerful effect, because it adds to the soul as well as adding to your damage. If you maybe want to replace a Demolition Dragon or 2 with that card, I would totally understand wanting to run that card. But for now, I'm doing a more mainstream aggressive build versus the kind of super uber consistent, I want to maintain all my resources and just grind out a game build, which I think that card would be more purposed in, for sure. Because I expect a lot of Excel mirror matches, right, in this format right now, so that's kind of how I built this deck. So you're going to have lots of Counterblast all the time, because they're just going to be attacking you all the time. So don't really worry too much about maintaining your Counterblast in this deck, because really, at the end of the day, you don't really need that many Counterblasts a turn to go super nuts. But just keep it in mind, though, it is important to always maintain your resources, that way you can use your skills effectively and as much as possible. Next up, we got 4 Dragonic Death Scythe. Best grade 2 in the deck. Strongest card, grade 2 in the deck for sure. I already said it's auto when placed. Soul Blast 2, choose rear guard in your opponent's front row, bind it, this unit gets power plus 3k. And then he actually has a continuous skill. During the battle that it attacked a Vanguard, if there are no rear guards in your opponent's front row or in front row of the same column as this unit gets power plus 5k. So the wording's a little weird here. Basically, it means in the column directly in front of it, if there's a unit there, he doesn't get 5k. If there isn't a unit there, he gets 5k. If there is, he does not. Fun fact though, if you put him on an Excel circle, unless there's another Excel circle lined up with the Excel circle that he's on, then there's no column there, so there's no rear guard there, which means he'll always have 5k. Which means basically on Excel circles, in Excel matchups, he always is a 14k beat stick, which means he's always a 24k body during your turn, which is crazy. And on the turn that you actually play him, he's 27k, so against another Excel deck, he hits beautiful magic numbers on Excel circles. This guy is one of our main beaters that goes on Excel circles. It's mainly him, Phoenix, and I guess Stinger, but Stinger can go on the rear guard as well. And I guess Recklessness and Dragoon, like all of our grade 2s, they kind of just want to like live on those Excel circles, to be honest with you. But they're rear guards obviously, so they can live anywhere on the board. But I'm just saying, like, there's so much more value on Excel circles, which is so crazy. Alright, anywho, moving on to Recklessness Dragon, another amazing card, actually probably the best ride in the deck because he does have a Vanguard on ride skill. When placed, Counterblast 1, choose a rear guard in your opponent's front row and bind it. That's Vanguard rear guard, so he's just very simple. On play, Counterblast 1, bind that dude, or bind that dude on ride or on call. So he's actually a very good counter push card, so if you're playing against a mirror match, for example, and they're rushing you really hard, you can ride this Reckless Dragon, get rid of one of their units, and then counter rush them, and now they have less cards in their hand to then push you again the following turn. Really powerful. And then the second effect is when it attacks a Vanguard, if there are one or less rear guards in your opponent's front row, this unit gets power plus 3,000 until end of turn. 22k body on a Excel circle of 12k most of the time. Really powerful card. Cannot wait to see what this card can add to the deck. Keep in mind, the turn that you use a Rising Phoenix, it actually is 11 plus 12, which is 23. That's a magic number, folks. That's a magic number. Beautiful magic number that hits everything in the format with a front trigger. That's 33. Boom, look at that. Look at those numbers you're doing out of nowhere. For just one unit gets me this unit, hitting 23, and then I can use a front trigger and then get the 33 just by being a god, and I have 3 drive checks. So, life is pretty good. And finally, we have 2 Thunderstorm Dragoon. Very generic card. I thought the deck had enough binding in it that I didn't want to play a card like Hammer Knuckle, and I didn't want to play a card like that Wyvern card that works a little bit similar to Riki and it's free. I really just wanted a beat stick that I can call by itself and pressure my opponent. So that's why I'm playing Thunderstorm Dragoon. Continuous during your turn. If your opponent has one or less rear guards in the front row, this unit gets power plus 5k. Honestly, this slot is floating for me. I do think he's the best option right now, but obviously more stuff can come out. I do think that Wyvern card's a bit cooler. I think Hammer Knuckle is probably your best bet besides this card if you want to try and get the same kind of effect, because Hammer Knuckle does gain 5k every time he kills something or binds it, but he has Counterblast 2, which is a little heavy in my opinion, so I'd rather just have like a consistent beater in the deck. That's one of those things though that my mind could change down the line, but I feel like this is the most consistent option right now, and I definitely think it's the most powerful one as well. Like, powerfully consistent, if that makes sense. But yeah, nothing really special about him. Moving on to the grade 3s. Oh man, when they revealed these grade 3s, I was like, yo, I'm playing this deck for sure now. Honestly, one of my favorite cards in the deck is Daytonic Stinger Dragon. Very reminiscent of Break Rides, if you know about that. If you don't know about it, don't worry about it. Watch the anime, you'll learn. There you go. But his effect is Vanguard Rear Guard, when placed, Counterblast 1, choose a rear guard in your opponent's front row, bind it, and this unit gets power plus 5k until end of turn. You read that and you go, oh, that's no big deal, you know, that's kind of cool. Counterblast 1's very efficient. He gets the Excel marker on Vanguard Rear Guard. That's really nice. But then, auto, when rode upon, call this card to rear guard circle, and one of your Vanguards gets power plus 10k until end of turn. So imagine the scenario. I have a Daytonic Stinger Dragon. I ride another Daytonic Stinger Dragon. I have 2 open counterblasts. I counterblast 1, bind something, and now I use the one in my soul. I call it out. It says when called, not when called from hand. It says when called. So counterblast 1 again, kill another dude. Now my Vanguard got another 10k. So my Vanguard got plus 15k. Wait, 15k, and my other rear guard got plus 5k. So now I have a 27k beater on a Excel circle, and I have a 27k Vanguard for no reason. And that's just Daytonic Stinger Dragon. Just wait till you get to Daytonic's Drill Dragon. Ultimate synergy right here. Because when you ride on him, he gets power plus 10k. And with his ability, When it attacks Vanguard, Counterblast 1, choose a rearguard in your opponent's front row and bind it. That happens first, keep that in mind. Discard the same number of cards from your hand as the number of your opponent's rearguards. At the end of that battle, stand this unit, and it gets power plus 5k, drive -1. So keep this in mind. The drive -1 happens at the second battle, not the first battle. That's a big thing to keep in mind, folks. Because he has to stand first before the rest of the skill resolves, which means he has 2 drive checks, then he gets 1. Big thing to keep in mind. So whenever you're discarding 2 cards, you're plussing. Whenever you're discarding 3 cards, you're netting even. So your best goal is to always have your opponent have 2 rear guards, at least. You know, you always want to, whenever you want to use his skill and you think it's not worth it, if he has 2 rear guards, it's worth it. I promise. And you're doing so much pressure. So a big thing to keep in mind is all this happens the second he attacks too. So you have to have the cards in your hand before you drive check. That's another thing that's kind of sucks about it. It's like the only thing I don't like about it, because you can't just go whammy, call your whole board, swing your Vanguard. They have no rear guard. Now, that is a big thing. If they have no rear guards, you don't need to have a hand. So that's another thing too. And also, this all happens during the battle phase. So you can use Riki, like I said, move the rest of their units in the front row, attack them as much as you want, force more cards out of your opponent's hand, and then swing with Daytonic Drill. You know, there's some really neat things you can do to kind of force a Daytonic Drill down your opponent's drill. But if you do notice, I'm only playing 3 Daytonic Drill. That's a thing to keep in mind, folks. He is my main way to win the game. However, like I said before, I built this deck in mind of a very heavy Excelmet, a Great Nature, Narukami, Murakumo, not so much, but down the line for sure. Gold Paladin. I want to be able to beat other Excel decks. And that's why we play this next card. Draconic Kaiser Vermilion. If I was a very, very good editor, I would put Kai's face on my face right now. Whop! If I was able to do it, then it was cool. If I didn't do it, then this is really funny. Anywho, Draconic Kaiser Vermilion. One of my OG units. I have a binder full of SPs over there. I don't want to go get it, but it's over there. I'm in love with this card. I'm so happy they brought him back. I wish they made him an OR. They didn't. That was a mistake, but no big deal. He's really easy to get, so I'm more okay with that. Draconic Kaiser Vermilion. Act skill. Vanguard only. Counterblast 2. And this unit gets power plus 5k and plus 1 critical. Cool. Until end of turn, if there are 2 more rear guards in your opponent's front row, instead of critical plus 1, this unit attacks. When this unit attacks, it battles all of the units in your opponent's front row in 1 attack. So picture this. You're playing against, oh, I don't know, Great Nature. They have 5 Excel circles because they're broken. You attack 6 units then with this card all at the same time. And imagine this the same turn, you roll Daytonic Stinger Dragon. You don't use his first skill, because when he's called out, you're going to attack everything anyway, so you don't care about killing anything. But you do get the second skill for free, plus another 10k, so that's plus 15k. 27k attacker attacking 6 different units, and they need to guard separately for each unit. They don't just go, oh, perfect guard, stop all 6 attacks. No, no, no. You have to guard each individual attack. Best ruling I've ever heard in Vanguard from back in the day. I was like, that makes so much sense. He's battling each one at the same time, but he's battling one at a time. They're not just all mobbing him, you know. So that's super cool. You can't intercept, you can't do any of that stuff. It's really awesome. Clears the board of their stuff. And then, guess what you do the next turn? You ride Daytonic Shield Dragon and you win the game. So that's really cool. This card is so good in Excel mirrors that I have to play 2 of it. Now, a big thing is, if you're worried about how many Daytonic Drill you're drawing in your other matchups, then you can cut a Daytonic Stinger, or you can cut this back down to 1 and play the 4th Daytonic Drill. If you want to play 0 Vermilion, you can, and play, like, I think that other Wyvern card, and I think it's another grade 3. Oh, or you can play the grade 3 in the trial deck, who's literally just like the beater of beaters, and he's very defensive too. But against other Excel decks, he's not that great defensively. So if you want a better offensive card, I would say Vermilion's your boy. Think about it this way. You're retiring 5 units for Counterblast 2. That's crazy. That's like another way to think about it. They don't get bound, though, which is another thing to keep in mind. Oh, a big thing about binding is that it's so valuable because, guess what? Against Royal Paladin, which are going to be huge, you bind the Blaster Blades. They can't get them back. That's so huge. Against, or Link Deck, you can bind Promise Starter. You can bind stuff like Rectangle Magus, I guess, but, you know, if you just attack, that's fine, too. Let's think, what else matters? Ooh, against, another big thing is against cards like Angel Feather, decks like Angel Feather. They had that like Phoenix card they're gonna be playing to try and stop Gold Paladins, Raven-haired Blonde Ezel and stuff. That card, you can just kill it. You kill it so easily, and you get so much value off of killing it. So great. This is probably my favorite Excel deck because it also has Disruption. Not like an Excel deck with Disruption and a Restander. Sign me up. That's basically what this deck is. This deck is Pressure.deck. And I cannot wait to show it off some more for you guys in my gameplay video coming up pretty soon. But that's kind of it for the actual deck profile. All the effects are really self-explanatory. There's not like the clear combos are there, but the deck can just do so much in certain turns that I cannot wait for you guys to see the games that I have ready for you guys to watch. But anywho, with all that being said, that's kind of it for the deck profile. Some tech cards. I think I've already explained all the tech cards that you can run. I honestly think that right now this list is looking really good. Mess around with the trigger lineup, obviously make it more atone to you, but right now I'm really liking this. You can even play 1 crit if you want to be like that guy and like really meme out on your opponent. Be like, oh, I got the 1 crit in my deck. Boom. Bam. And once your opponent sees 1 crit, they're going to think you play more. No one ever thinks, oh, he just plays 1 crit. But if you do that, then you're mind gaming them and you're winning the game because they think incorrectly, and then they'll make plays that are incorrect. It's really cool just to think about it. But yeah, no, with all that being said, I have been the TrueChampionSteven. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like and let me know. As always, subscribe if you're new, and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Links in the description below, and Snapchat even if you want to be adventurous. Go right ahead. But yeah, I think that'll do it for me. Cannot wait for you guys to see the gameplay video. And yeah, work hard, rest easy, and live well, y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.